You shouldn't be old or dying to have a plan for the end stage of your life. In fact, it's time to think about it when you're healthy so that you have time to put together an advanced care plan. Joining us now to tell us more about this are Blande with the Winnipeg chapter of Dying with Dignity and Dorothy Stephens, a presenter for the Advanced Care Planning Workshops. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Now, as I mentioned, you shouldn't wait till you're really sick to think about this. Why is it important to do that when you're healthy or even ahead of time?
Because then you have time to think about it. You have time to learn about your options. You have time to talk to your family and your friends and your loved ones and your doctor and anybody whose input and information would be important to help you make a decision. Most people don't do that, and if you don't do it ahead of time, you will do it or somebody will do it for you, but you might end up doing it under pressure for time, or when you're not feeling well, or maybe you're too sick and somebody else will have to make decisions for you that you don't even get the input.
Okay, so what are some of these decisions you need to think about?
It's important to think, like, advanced care planning is thinking about what will happen to you and who will make decisions and who will look after you and your affairs, especially if something happens and you're suddenly ill or injured.
Okay.
There's a lot of components to that. Somebody's got to pay your bills and water your plants, but the big one that nobody wants to talk about is the who's going to talk to the doctor and make decisions when they get that phone call. If you have not made any plans ahead of time, the law will say that it's going to be your next of kin, and maybe your family will not all agree or know what to do, or maybe they'll say, Mom never talked to us and we have no idea what she would want us to do. Those kind of decisions. So if you think about it, plan for it, and talk to people and indicate your wishes ahead of time when you're well and you have time for that, then there can be a lot less family arguments or guilt about difficult decisions and things like that.
And stress, really.
And stress.
Because just
for everybody.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things too with finances, because you need to consider who's going to be in charge of your bank account.
Yes.
If you can't pay your own bills because you're in the hospital.
Right. So that, and my background is not at all law, but the document that indicates who's going to manage your finances and things in Manitoba is a power of attorney.
Okay.
And that is not the same thing as the person who gets to make decisions for your health care. And a lot of people confuse those things. They say, oh, I have a power of attorney. Well, that's great. That person can look after your banking. But in Manitoba, there's a separate law that governs healthcare decision making, and that's the Healthcare Directives Act, and you can appoint a person to legally manage your healthcare decision making, and that is completely separate. It's two different laws and two different roles,
right? Okay.
From the healthcare and the financial thing. And if you have people in your life who you can trust, we often recommend that you appoint two different people, like one person to look after your personal and health affairs and decisions, and another person, say you have 2 children.
Okay.
And then that way, if and when something happens to you, because it will happen to all of us, then the burden doesn't all fall to one person. Each person has something to do, that they're responsible. And the person you appoint in Manitoba for healthcare decisions is called a healthcare proxy.
Okay, so if someone wants to learn more about this, because we're almost out of time already, where should they go?
They can go to they can email us to winnipeg@dyingwithdignity.ca. We can send them out. We have a Dying with Dignity healthcare kit.
Okay.
We can send them the information. We also have patient advocacy guide. We can send those to them as well. They can go to our email us, and we can send them the information as far as when we have events happening.
Okay.
They can sign up. We'll sign them up for that.